one of the things that I've heard about the movie Slumdog Millionaire, and to date I haven't seen it. But my barber this morning, got my hair cut. My barber this morning was telling me something about the movie, that he and his wife were watching it, and part of the movie is in this group of little street children, that some of the children have their eyes gouged out because it is a better way to raise money. Blind beggars get more money than seeing beggars. And his wife said, that doesn't really happen, does it? Yeah, it does. I had the opportunity for 7 summers to work with Mother Theresa in Calcutta. And one of the places where I worked was her children's orphanage called Shushu Bhavan. And the first time I had gone to get toys for the children, was sitting there and realized what was going on. And this stampede of all these children with these toys. I saw these little kids who were walking around and they were just kind of feeling the way. I knew they had visual problems. I didn't know what they were. And finally, by the time all the toys were given out, this little blind girl was standing in front of me crying, and she didn't get a toy. And one way or another, I got a toy back, gave her a doll. She sat in my lap and she fell asleep. And I told the young volunteer, Beranger, the little girl from Belgium sitting next to me, I said, Beranger, I said, a lot of these children have eye problems. Why is that? She looked at me like, you don't know? I said, no, what is it? She said, we get that from their parents. And I said, you mean like birth defects? She said, no. I said, what do you mean? She said, you see, Father, if a mother's going to put her child out on the street to beg, they'll make more money if they're handicapped, so they gouge their eyes out. I got to tell you, by this time, the little girl had fallen asleep with her doll in my lap. There have been very few times in my life when I couldn't feel my own heart. I couldn't believe it. And the sense of outrage that this was done intentionally to this child by this child's mother, who should be someone she could trust. I was just outraged. But you know, the reality is, as I look around, and as I got to thinking, you know, I've been a priest 30 years. I've seen a whole lot of scars that are not visible on the outside. And if I was a mother or a parent who had 3 or 4 children who were starving to death, I don't know what I would do to feed my children. But I know in this country, we have a lot of children who bear scars, horrible scars, that are not visibly apparent from looking at them, but on the inside they're horrible. Not because someone was starving to death, not because someone needed it to survive, because some people were sick and perverted, and they've used their children as part of their own illness or their own perversion. So the challenge in our lives, the great challenge in our lives, is to protect the children. If you saw Slumdog Millionaire, you thought that was far-fetched. It's not. It's very common. But before you judge these people about what they do to survive, we need to take a long, hard look in the mirror and see what we do to our kids out of our own sick perversion, not out of necessity.